Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all doing well. And today, my friends, we're back with the Beastmen vs. Greenskin showdown. It's going to be bottom two facing off against Samurai style. Malagor the Dark Omen coming in with most likely some sort of a leadership bomb, facing off against Wurzag the Great Green Prophet. Of course, very good. Wurzag is pretty meta in domination, and honestly, in a lot of land battles, he was as well, because he's able to buff your entire army, he has a snare, and he's your caster, right? And those are some of the best things, like huge map-wide buffs and snares and healing. You know, those are usually pretty good. Although he doesn't have healing, I was just kind of saying that it's in the company of healing. So for the Beastmen army, it's going to be a front line of Gors and Ungors. Very standard. Gors are basically like Savage Orcs. They trade pretty well into the Greenskin front line. They'll beat Orc Boys. They'll lose to probably better units, but generally they just do very, very well in kind of that trade in the Greenskin front line. We do have Ungor Raiders in the backfield, one of the better units on the roster. Ungor Raiders can, just for their price and the ambushing, they have hidden in stock, so they can creep up, they can focus fire targets, they can take down things like Savage Orcs. Greenskins do have a lot of light armor as well, so yeah, big fan of those. Butchers of Kalkengard in the backfield, the big healing cows, so these guys do have regeneration and they look super cool. What's not to love? They are going to be moving up. Now, aside from that, we have double Manticores, and Manticores have always been pretty good against low leadership factions. Someone, I played a bit of Greenskins in Warhammer 2, not so much in Warhammer 3, but one thing you always got to watch out for with Wurzag is having him being hunted down by Manticores. It is super stressful because they're faster than him. He only has like 70 speed. These things can chase him, and they can kill him fairly quickly. So Malagor actually coming in with Mantle of Gorok for a big damage buff, and then a Doom and Darkness for leadership bombs. That's cool. So he overcasts Mantle of Gorok to get a big AoE buff, and then he leadership bombs to the opponent's army there to kind of break a position. I think it's pretty neat. We'll have to see how it works out. Very off meta for sure. Now, for the Great Samurai style, he's going to be coming in with Stone Trolls. We got your boy Wurzag, the Great Green Prophet. Very nice. Wurzag is able to cast Edbutt and Brain Buster, just two cheap damage spells to be triggering the Bonewood Staff, which is giving the whole army melee attack and charge bonus. It's awesome. And he does have a Goblin Big Boss, a nice little tech. The Big Boss could help Wurzag fight off a Manticore. He could pop like Effigy of the Git when it's on the ground, attack it with Cavalry, get a Big Boss to get in there and shank it. And maybe you can drag that down. Stone Trolls, obviously not bad. Very, very durable against the missiles of the Beastmen. And, aside from that, can be kind of tough to kill. Minotaurs with great weapons can trade well into them, but I do think the Stone Trolls could potentially be a big winner here for the Greenskins if they are not leadership bombed and chased off the battlefield by Malagor the Dark Omen and company. So we'll have to see how that unfolds. Now, this is Bleakspire Labor Camp. Very, very cool domination map. In our map pack, it is objective 3, 2, and 1. So it's very much like an Itza map with a little bit of a high ground position. And the battle is soon to be on. So in the backfield, Minotaurs with great weapons coming in. Very good inclusion. You're going to need something to kill those Stone Trolls. So I think that is perhaps a step in the right direction as we do get Ungor Spears. We're going to be just grabbing this high ground objective. I'm surprised the Greenskins are playing very, very defensively back here. Not wanting to move up and engage the Bray Herd initially, which is going to be yielding the objectives initially to the Beastmen. So Malagor looks like he's flying over the hill here, looking extra wicked. Something wicked comes his way, and the Death Creepers can certainly sense it, and they are going to be regenerating here, so farewell, Death Creepers. We'll see you guys in just a minute. Oh, Anakin, I'm too weak. My throat just got really dry there. That was weird. Let me have a sip of water here. But the Manticore is also pursuing. Have some good water. Stay hydrated, guys. So, a little bit of a wild one. Check this out. Malagor actually lands down here on the ground. Could have potentially gotten surrounded by Spider Riders and had Wurzag as well as, the Goblin Big Bosses nearby. Oh no, and he gets caught in an effigy! Oh man, this could be a disaster start for sure. The Manticore is coming in here, as well as the Chaos Warhounds. We're going to be seeing the power of terror routes here against the Greenskins. Are they going to be able to capitalize on that effigy? I don't think so. Is that going to be a Mantle of Gorok going down on Chaos Warhounds? No way. Is that going to happen? Okay, these Warhounds have 66 melee attack and 30 weapon strength. And suddenly they're going to be buzzsawing through these units a little bit. Okay, this is actually really interesting. The dreaded Mantle of Gorok Warhounds, but really nice response to the Greenskins. They get a huge AoE spell there, but not before the Death Creepers get absolutely mulched. And now it's double Manticores here, battling double Goblin Big Boss. The Manticore should be favored in that fight. Wurzag also going to need to get away here. The Hounds do break off, but the Mantle of Gorok play was really cool. And there is going to be some Orc Biggins coming in to kind of save the day. So that was a good salvage from the Beastmen. Granted, Malagor did lose about half of his HP, but Wurzag took damage, Big Bosses took damage, and it did force out a Biggin summon, which might not have been what they wanted to do in that situation. So very interesting exchange there in the beginning. Now, on the front line, Ungor Raiders peppering into Orc Boys. What they want to be shooting is Savage Orcs 100%. Even Stone Trolls. Stone Trolls do have missile resistant armor, but the volume of fire, like 4 Raiders focusing 1 Troll, will actually kill them reasonably quickly. It's not like the worst thing. And it looks like the Greenskin's going to be summoning in some Squig Herds. Squig Herds are one of the best units on the roster. Good general armor piercing, just cheap. They're immune to psychology. They just, they get work done. So the Beastmen are going to be pulling back, which makes sense. It looks like the Greenskins have a little bit of a better kind of fighting front line here, as they just have this huge concave of Trolls. Oh yeah, river trolls. Are these swamp things? They have to be. The swamp things, baby. Swamp things, of course, do cause terror, which is really, really good against the Beastmen Ungors. And the Minotaurs waiting in the trees to ambush. You know, that's one thing that I think the faction identity, like how Beastmen are always like a pullback and Counter-Strike, not necessarily always a brute force faction. Like the faction identity of all the factions, I think has been captured pretty well for the most part. I'm trying to think of one that, except Slaanesh. Slaanesh is just like tanky and good at everything. Like Slaanesh is supposed to be like a hit and run, not necessarily brawl with you faction, but Slaanesh is with their warriors. Physical resist and ITP is actually one of the better brawling factions in the game as well. Now the fight is on. Squigs in the front line getting handled by the Minotaurs. We do see the Savage Orcs needing to pile in and lend a little bit of support to their Stone Trolls. Minotaurs will generally trade pretty well here. And look at that, rear charge coming in for the Manticores. And is there going to be a Doom and Darkness? There is, and the Trolls get tanked on leadership. They actually get terrified. They're at negative 22. Savage Orcs are fighting pretty well, but a big leadership bomb sends a lot of the Orc units running here. So very, very cool combo plays there. Beautiful brain busted there by Samurai Style in the backfield. He's able to kind of nail those Ungor Raiders. Value trading is really even. The fighting is actually really close in this game. High ground objective owned pretty comfortably here by the Beastmen, as they do have some Centaurs and Goreherds who should be able to win here. Dirk and Squigs are going to get wrecked by these Centaurs, and this fight is going to be favoring the Beastmen. So that's a pretty nice win, and we do see a lot of the Trolls on the run, which is an awesome thing, but obviously you need to capitalize. You need to make sure to chase them off or nullify them somehow, or else they are going to be able to heal and come back, and that could be problematic. But the big leadership of the Feral Manticores, as well as Malagor the Dark Omen, seem to be causing some serious problems as the Savage Orcs and Stone Trolls are chased back into the Shadow Realm here. Raiders are still all online and shooting, and honestly, this is looking really good for the Beastmen, as your boy Wurzag is going to be caught, and I think against Beastmen, Wurzag is so good, but he's also so vulnerable. Malagor is actually not a bad fighter either. He could even cycle charge Wurzag and get some good damage in there under the right circumstances. But yeah, it looks like there's a bit of a rout for the Greenskins. They do have some units coming back here. Orc Boys, Savage Orcs, the big wall going down, the Stone Troll still grinding here. And despite the value lead that the Beastmen have, there is healing on the Trolls, so we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that over the course of the game, even though their leadership is starting to tank pretty heavily. So those Stone Trolls are going to be running for the hills, while the Feral Manticores just, wherever they go with Malagor, it's just a huge leadership bomb. Also, something else to note is Malagor does have a leadership aura that tanks enemy leadership. Something wicked comes his way. It's not like massive, but it is -4 perpetually, so that plus Doom and Darkness, I think, is what, -20 when you overcast it? Yeah, so it's -16. -20 leadership is pretty good. Couple Orc Boys moving in, getting a lot of DACA. We do see some Forest Goblin Spider Riders being counterattacked by Chaos Warhounds. And here it looks like the Greenskins are actually getting a little bit of pushback momentum, as the Minotaurs with Great Opens are kind of on the back foot. But reinforcements coming in for the Vanguard for the Beastmen here. They are able to get some Centaurs in. Maybe that will salvage the position. One Manticore here could be potentially dying. It has been hit by Effigy of Dgit. Goblin Big Bosses is hacking it. It's wavering it for leadership. And the Savage Orcs, even though they aren't the Savage Orc Biggins, still do hit pretty hard with 39 weapon strength. So they might be able to drag that bad boy down. We'll have to keep tabs. Back on the objective game, Greenskins holding on to 2 objectives. The high ground is heavily contested, but it looks like the Greenskin units... Oh, they were Orc Biggins. Okay, that explains it. The Orc Biggins are able to start to get this objective back. Obviously, Centaur's going to have a terrible fight here, and it looks like a massive mismatch as these Gors and Ungors are battling a very good grinding unit. I mean, Orc Biggins are just so good in sustained combat, just with their stats and their armor. A lot of things going for them. But the Ungor Raider line is still very functional, and there's a pretty good chance they're going to be able to push up. The Beastmen are up in value. That one Manticore does get broken, but could come back. Minotaurs here battling into Savage Orcs, and the Great Opens might be able to get that big boss. He is on a wolf, so he is a little bit of a vulnerable target here. Centaurs in the backfield chasing down Morgrim's Magi Marauders with some hounds, trying to mitigate the Greenskin skirmishing as more Spider Riders pile in to try and lend their little spider maws, or I guess talons. What are the pincers? I don't know what the hell the spiders have. I guess it's the spider legs, yes, of course. So, middle objective is going to be flipping most likely to the Brayherd. Malagor coming in, probably going to be doing a big leadership bomb again. 1 leadership on the Stone Trolls. It's really good for taking these positions here, and we do see them break like instantly with the rear charge. I mean, the rear charge is -16 or 10, I think, somewhere in that ballpark. And with the Doom and Darkness going down, that is a really, really cool tactic. So hopefully you guys are taking some notes. I certainly am. Ungor Raiders now going to be able to kind of slow push up. Greenskins seem to be losing a little bit of momentum on the battlefield, with the exception of the high ground, where those Orc Biggins are just value trading so heavily. With the Wa active, they're 63 melee attack, 52 weapon strength, able to counter the Centaurs and any of the mobility of the Beast. There's literally nothing the Beastmen can send here that would be good against the Orc Biggins. That was kind of one of the meta builds against Beastmen in Warhammer 2 was Orc Biggins spam, but Beastmen can counter it with Ungor Raiders. Like Ungor Raiders focusing Orc Biggins, a little bit of magic. Obviously, they have tools against it. They're not like helpless, but yeah, the Biggins are very, very nasty. So the Goblin Big Bosses in the backfield karate chopped. One of them broken. He's running for his life, and the other one here is a little bit surrounded by the big cows. They're going to be escorting him back to the objective. Like, no, man, the objective's this way. So they're moving over, 900 HP. Manticore's on its way back in. Some Stone Trolls do come back from Rally, or no, the Swamp Things. Okay, a little Terror Route going down. We do see the Centaurs getting Terror Routed right there, while the Stone Trolls and the Forest Goblin Spider Riders move up to the objective. Greenskins fighting valiantly on this one, that's for sure. Savage Orcs will trade pretty evenly with Gore Herds, but the Ungor Raider fire is going to punish them super hard. Savage Orcs, one thing they don't want is getting shot by missiles. They literally have 0 armor, and they do have physical resist with their War Paint, but it's not going to be enough to save them from that big old beatdown that's going to be coming. Now, this is a dicey fight. Warzag actually charging into Minotaurs with Great Weapons. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out. Those Minotaurs, maybe he's going to be able to get a leadership break, but the Minotaurs could also just kill him. We'll have to see. One Manticore is broken. This objective is being held by the Greenskins, but I think the Minotaurs here should be able to push them back, although maybe Warzag was able to get enough of a charge going. There are some Orc Boys coming back in and some rallying Greenskin infantry, so maybe the Minotaurs here get collapsed on and things get a little bit messy here. Samurai Style doing a good job scrapping this game. It looks like there's been some very good engagements to the Beastmen, but somehow Palpatine has returned and the Greenskins continue their reign of aggression as they keep pushing in and are keeping the Beastmen on the back foot. Up here, rallying Greenskin units, Savage Orcs, Goblin Big Bosses came back. Warzag is on Death's Bed. Death's Bed? Yeah, that's pretty good. That's how they would say it as well. And the Minotaur is probably going to break. Butchers of Kalkengard do cause terror, though, so that they can get some terror routes going down on these guys. Maybe. We'll have to see. But Swamp Things are really cool because they themselves cause terror, which means they're immune to it. That's how that works. If a unit causes fear, it can't be, it's immune to fear, essentially. If a unit causes terror, it is also immune to terror. So Ungor Spearmen coming in, trying to help the Butchers of Kalkengard out. Middle objective here is owned by the Bray Herd, and it looks like Malagor and the Centaurs, as well as the Manticore, are holding on well. But these are Orc Biggins. Orc Biggins, of course, a little bit vulnerable against the Raider fire. They're not immune to Psychology also, so if you get a Doom and Darkness on the Biggins, even though they would normally grind really well here, you can see they're suddenly broken. Now there's Warhounds chasing them. If you can actually break their leadership from there, they'll then be broken, and a really crappy unit of 34 Warhounds could basically accrue like 500 value for you by chasing them off the battlefield. Big macro look. Objective 1 is owned by the Greenskins, but it looks like that one's going to be flipping. They probably had to allocate some resources down here. Objective 3 is currently owned by the Greenskins as well. Number 2 by the Beastmen, but obviously they're going to be losing this one. As far as the score goes, it looks like Samurai Style is a little bit ahead, but he's down 2,000 value, which is very, very tough, and he's really going to start feeling it. Once this Manticore gets back up here and starts chasing his characters and getting terror routes, it's going to be pretty nasty. Manticore actually attacking into the Orc Biggins. A little bit dangerous, but obviously, with a little bit of support and Doom and Darkness, he might be able to get that. Squigs moving in with Orc Boys in the middle, going to be trying to get that one back. Do the Beastmen have any infantry coming in themselves? A couple Ungor Raiders. I don't even know how these Ungor Raiders are dying. Every time I look back here, they're just like lower health, and they've just been kind of getting grinded down. I suppose some Spider Riders or Greenskin mobility maybe came that way. Now, Beastmen going to be trying to alpha strike these units before they can get to the objective, and on the top, we do see this one owned by the Greenskins pretty firmly, as Warzag and company doing well. Pretty dream situation here for Samurai Style. Getting a Manticore rampaged into your anti-large infantry units, it's got to feel pretty good. It looks like he's going to be moving in there. That's very dangerous. If Warzag were to attack here and the Manticore just decided to kind of swing at him, that would be a huge, huge blunder for sure. But the Beastmen do take control of the 2 objectives. They have Gore Herd sitting on the high ground. The middle objective is very well entrenched, and their mobility is really picking apart the Greenskin reinforcements as we see the Orc Boys getting a little bit bullied here, Squig Herds. And it is going to be Broken Tusk Mob, which I don't hate. They'll certainly be very good against Centaurs. Not amazing against infantry, but overall could help break the Minotaurs and Centaurs and also the Manticores and things like that. But they need support. If you just charge them into Gore Herds, it's not going to be a favorable trade. Their stats are pretty low. They're an anti-large unit. They do have 100 armor, which is pretty badass, but overall, this is not going to be a good trade for them. Having them getting charged by these Gores, which actually have a really good charge bonus. It looks like there's going to be some Witchcraft going down. Doom and Darkness, they're down to 23 leadership, man. And now they're just going to get terror routed, right? The synergy of that is really, really cool. So you're going to see a terror route go down here in 5. I'm just guessing 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, I was pretty close, honestly, guys. I haven't watched this replay yet. That was totally just prophecy there. But the high ground looks like the Beastmen are going to be getting this one back. And it looks like finally the Bray Herd has taken control of the game. The leadership breaks. Been really, really cool. And it just goes to show there's a lot of unexplored aspects of the meta, which are really, really fun. And both these players are, I believe, they're both. Bottom 2 goes by Dog Person now. He is, I think, top 16. I think Samurai Style is a tournament winner, top 16 player as well. So you can see if it can work there. It's got some teeth. So taking a look here at ye old Manticores, we do see the Butchers doing well. Big leadership routes, little Raiders in the back, accruing some decent value. But overall, really fun match. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Very different playstyle. Always cool to see the Greenskins kind of scrapping from behind and, almost getting back to the game. I like the double Goblin Big Boss as like protection against being gooned. It seemed to do okay. I mean, Warzag didn't die. He lasted the game, so clearly the big bosses didn't do a bad job, right? Yeah, hard to say. GG, well played. See you guys next time. Take care of yourselves, and thank you to Bottom 2, aka Dog Person, and Samurai Style for sending in this replay. GG.